that boss only going to give you a stinky 3% raise? You need to get more. Stay tuned to figure out how. Hey, Frank Thomas here from Wealth Generation Strategies, and today I'm going to be talking about getting more every single year. I like to call it the 20% or more principle every single year. 20%, you say? Yeah, 20%. I have, for the last 3 or 4 years, been earning at least 20% more every year by following what I'm going to be teaching you today. If this is something that interests you, you need to stay tuned. Let's get into it. Now, you might say to yourself, and you might actually be thinking, well, how the heck is that possible? Why is it my boss going to give me a 2% raise or a 3% raise, and you're telling me I can get a 20% raise? Well, it does require you to do a little bit of extra work, and let me just tell you what it's all about here. The first point here is you need to know what your marketplace worth is, and it usually will be a range based upon your experience, your location, what you know, what are your specializations, all that stuff. But get an idea what you're actually worth. That is super important. Even I'm guilty of not knowing how much I'm worth. And you always devalue yourself. You always, it's rare when somebody comes and says, oh yeah, I should be earning, $300 an hour, and the guy's now worth 20 bucks an hour. It's rare. Most of the time we are worth way more than what we actually earn, and we don't even realize it. We assume, and this is a bad place to assume, we assume that our workplace is going to fairly pay us. Now, in some areas where there's unions or where there is strict labor laws and things like that, like when you're doing trades and such, 9 times out of 10 you're probably already getting paid what you're worth in your particular area. But in most cases, so many of us are not. I was actually very surprised because once I had done a little bit of an evaluation based upon my demographic and other demographics, I realized that I could definitely earn more money, and turned around and started earning about 25% more in that first year. Definitely know what your marketplace worth is. And this leads into my second point. Discover what specializations or certifications that will greatly enhance the value of you in the marketplace. There was a time when I had all the training, but I didn't have the certification for a particular technical trade. Because I didn't have the certification, I got paid way less. Once I had the certification, I was able to watch my income double overnight because I'd gotten that certification. So if there's any specializations or certifications you can get, even if it's going to take you a year, if you're going to see that it's going to make at least a 20% or more difference, it's worth your while to take. Hey, if it's going to cost you to take them, evaluate the gain compared to what it's going to cost you. I was certified as a systems person on networks and servers and stuff like that, but then I was really interested in becoming a developer. So what I did was I went and investigated to see how much I could earn as a developer, and I was a little shocked. I can earn a heck of a lot more. So I paid, I think it was $15,000 in a year of my life, and went and did this intense boot camp, became a fully certified C# developer. Wow, what a difference it made to my career. Now I'm earning way more than I ever earned before. So I say really dig deep. This is a principle that I teach quite often to people, and it's the look left and look right. Look left and look right and see what people are earning in like trades. Let's say I was a systems guy, and I could see if I became a developer, so it was a bit of a shift. If I became a developer, I could easily match what I was making, and I could grow from there. It was really a no-brainer for me. It really was a no-brainer. I literally came out of the gates after I got my certification and started earning twice again what I was earning before. So I recommend to do that all the time. Also to look at other companies in your area. You might be underpaid where you're at. It happens all the time. You've come into a job, and I'm not saying that the workplace is a bad guy or anything like that, but what happens is you'll come into a job and you're earning, let's say, $100,000 a year working there. You've been there for 2 or 3 years and you've got nominal raises. So what happens is, but the workplace outside of that where you're working might have gone up 50%. Might have gone up 5%. Who knows? You don't know unless you've checked out the first point, which was check out your marketplace worth. you might discover that you're worth a lot more. Now you can go to your company that you're working with and give them the chance. And I always say, give them the chance. If you like working there, give them the chance. Hey, you know, I did a little bit of investigating and you guys are paying me $100,000, but I'm noticing that everybody else in the workforce is earning $135,000. Just saying. Sometimes the company will rise up to the challenge and just pay you what you are asking. Because they know, if they don't know, they're not worth their salt. But 9 times out of 10, the HR department knows what your job range is. Sometimes, and unfortunately, in a lot of cases, they won't. They'll be like, oh, wow, you know, that's a lot of money. And I've heard all these stories. So what you do is you bone up your resume and you get it out there. Talk to other companies. You might find, and I've done that on several occasions in the past. I've primarily been a contractor. I've not just kind of worked here for a month and worked there for a month. I take 6 month to 1 year contracts. So really and truthfully, 9 times out of 10, my contracts will always extend. But in the same breath too, when I finish up a contract, I've already planned out another one if I don't think it's going to renew. Or if I haven't got anything else, I just might let it renew and I'm happy. But I know, again, what I'm worth. And in that year, I have been taking and doing more specializations and learning more and trying to gain more certification, getting ready for that next position. To give you a good idea, I'm going to be jumping probably about another 20% again this year. I've been jumping 20% every year and it really makes a big difference. Okay, let's get to our next point here. This is an important one. Learn to network effectively. I never have mentioned this in any of my videos yet, and I think if I don't, I'm really committing a disservice to you. So learn how to network, and I mean network with the whole pretense of making good relationships with other people in places you've worked. 9 times out of 10, you'll work at a place and you'll get to know a bunch of people. You might even have a few laughs with them, but when you leave, you never talk to them ever again. You have left money lying on the table, and you're not trying to create a friendship for the money. And I'm being straight up with you, but it will come with the friendship. It always does. I've gotten more opportunities that never saw a job board or the light of day in a public posting, because what happens is, I'll give you for example, I had a friend who I had done work with and I kept in touch with him. We became good friends. We talked to each other probably once every few weeks, once every few months, and he contacted me one day and said, Frank, you really need to come work where I'm working. You know, you really do. I think you really like it, and you can earn a lot more money here, and on and on and on. And he was 100% right. I submitted myself. There wasn't even a job posted yet for the position. And I submitted myself. I did interviews. I got a job. I got a job based upon his recommendation, of course, but also the merits that I brought to the table as well. It made a huge difference, and I was able to work with that company for almost 2 years, which was brilliant. But eventually I decided it was time to move on, and that's okay too. But I keep those relationships. I have relationships, and I reach out to probably about a dozen people on a regular basis. I try to make sure I reach out to them, and some of these people have been my friends for over 10 years, 20 years. I love to hear what they're doing in their lives and what they're working on and seeing what they're up to. I know that if they see something come to them that they think I'm suited for, they're going to call me up and say, hey Frank, give me your resume and let me submit it to my company. You know, like, this is what we're doing and we'll talk about it, and it looks really interesting. And I do the same thing. I do the same thing for those people. There was one time that I knew that this company needed somebody to build them an interface that I didn't have any skills in, but I knew somebody who did, who was a good friend of mine. So I brought him in and he made an easy $30,000. Boom, hey. And it's because he knew me, I knew him. It was a job that never got posted, and those are always the best jobs. Before we get into our bonus, I'd just like to ask you, if you're enjoying this video, give it a like. It really helps me out. And if you find that you're really enjoying the videos and you've watched a few, consider subscribing and becoming part of the tribe here at Wealth Creation Strategies. I too would really appreciate that. It really helps out my channel. But let's get into our bonus. The number one way I found to earn 20% more, or even more than that per year, is learning how to create products. Yeah, products. Move into like a product-based strategy where you take your expertise. It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters what trade. You could be a doctor and take things that are, you know, in your trade, You can't teach somebody how to become a doctor. You'd probably be breaking a lot of ethics rules. But hey, let's say you discover as a doctor that you see a lot of people suffer from diabetes because they eat chocolate and they shouldn't eat chocolate. Hey, make a product that talks about that for diabetics. In my personal trade, I love talking about the wealth stuff. I'm not a wealth person, but I do talk extensively about it, and I write courses about it and books about it, and I love doing that. It's a real passion of mine. In the programming side, I've also written courses there too and made a lot of money over the years, and I make products too. Within my own trade, I have the ability, because I can program, is I actually create applications that I can sell as a membership site. Pretty interesting, eh? And I tell you, it's worth your while because you're taking your expertise and your experience and creating a whole new stream of wealth. And that will really help you out in the long run. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I mentor one young fellow every week, and I was telling him about the show that I'm writing. He's like, oh, Frank, you got to mention the 1% Better video. Tell them about the 1% Better video, and they got to go see this. So it fit well with this particular video, and I have to agree with him. So Noah, I'm going to take your advice. You know who you are, and give you a shout out. Always enjoy meeting with you. Today I'm going to say take a look at it. It's the 1% Better video. It does fit really well with this video in learning how to earn 20% more every year. So if you go over there, I'll see you there, but if not, I hope you have a wonderful day. Frank Thomas, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.